Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition, episode 14 of the Power Play Podcast. I'm Michael Ledoux.
I am the Dan Dallin.
I am Trey Ledoux.
I don't know if you know who you are. You get the best hair in the world right now with that hockey hair going rocking and rolling, buddy. Hey, we'd like to welcome our special guest, Coach Mark Phalon of Niagara University Hockey. Coach, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
So I guess we'll jump right in, Coach. We've interviewed a bunch of your sidekicks, everybody from I think all the way up from Plattsburgh to Hobart to everywhere in between. Welcome aboard. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on right now at Niagara University with regards to hockey? I know you guys had a good weekend, so.
Yeah, no, I've heard from a few guys that have joined the podcast. My uncle actually is Chris Wells, so he was on a few weeks back, I believe, and then Coach Taylor is obviously one of my fondest people in this game. I owe a lot to him. So, but jumping into your question, we this week we've got a cross-state rival up with RIT, so we play a home and home with them, beginning at our place at Dwyer Arena on Friday night, and then we travel out there Saturday to play them. So big weekend coming off of a huge split, I guess, last weekend against the team south of the bridge, as we call them, our biggest rival, Canisius. And
right.
So that was an emotional one. It was senior weekend, just a chance for us to honor our seniors. And so when that happens, it's always an emotional roller coaster from the start to the end of the weekend. But we were fortunate to get out of there with 3 points, and certainly they're a good team. So it was very competitive.
That's great. Yeah, jumping in. I guess we've had. It seems like everybody we have is from Canton, New York. You can't walk down the streets of Canton, New York, or the Canton area, or somebody with ties to Potsdam, Canton, or St. Lawrence, or Clarkson without running into a hockey coach. Isn't that what you said a couple of weeks ago, Dan?
Yeah, it place must be just crawling with hockey players. I think it has something to do with it having 13 months of winter every year.
So, Coach, take us from the beginning. Take us from childhood. Take us from when you were a young kid. Where'd you start? How'd you get to where you are today? That's something we always go over with coaches.
Well, I dropped a lot of names, that's for sure. But no, I started as a young guy, just like everybody else back home, and fell in love with the game. I was two and a half years old when I was first on skates, and began playing, on my teams versus, house league and mini mites and all that stuff when I was young. And it's just part of the culture of growing up in the North Country. And it seems like everybody plays some sort of winter sport, but mostly hockey. And it's been a great journey, that's for sure. I fell in love with it there. And then, as I got older, you begin to have to figure out, where you're going to go with life, whether it's with the game of hockey or not. And most people don't get that opportunity to make a career out of it. But I didn't get to do it as a player. That would have been pretty fun, but I took the next best thing and started my coaching career. I was fairly young. I was, I think, a sophomore at Potsdam, SUNY Potsdam. I was going to school, and Coach Marsh from St. Lawrence and Chris Wells and Bob Pryor, they approached me about, beginning things, and I was able to jump on the staff there kind of as a student video coach. And that's how I got my start, really. From there, I moved on to Northeastern University in Boston. And I was in my graduate school year at St. Lawrence, and I didn't really know which direction I was going to go. I was, I think, 22 or 23 years old, and I was a business major at Potsdam. I was doing my master's in educational leadership at St. Lawrence, and really had no idea what I wanted to do. So I made a call. It was a cold call to a guy by the name of Greg Cronin, who was the head coach at Northeastern at the time. And fortunately enough, he answered it and chatted with me for a little while, and that ended up working out. And so I moved down to Boston and kind of began from there. And then it's funny because in the 3 years that I was at Northeastern, I was there for 5 total, but 3 with Coach Cronin. he had eventually moved on to the National Hockey League with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then I began working with another coach by the name of Jim Madigan at Northeastern, who just accepted the athletic director job last summer. But the reason I'm telling you this is because it was 2 years later, Greg Cronin gave me a call, and there was an opening in Toronto with the American Hockey League club there. And that position was very fitting for me. It's something I wanted to do. So I took a leap of faith and moved to Toronto and spent a couple good years there. And then it kind of really started for me on the coaching side of things. I got to go to Hobart for 3 years with Coach Taylor, and moved to Alaska, and now at Niagara. So it's taken me a lot of pretty cool places, but it's certainly been a journey. I was looking back on it the other day, and I think it's been 18 or 19 years, but it feels like it just started yesterday. So it's something I love to do, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, I notice a lot of it's a lot of stuff it's really interesting is the video coach portion of things. You must analyze a ton of video, then you must look at a lot of coach, do you do that from like an in-game perspective of the guys that are playing from you, or do you do that of candidates that are going to be coming into wherever you're coaching, like whether it's at the Marlies or with Niagara? What does that job entail?
It's kind of all encompassing. Like when I was doing that role, when I was doing more video on the video side of things, most of it had to do with like in-game analysis. So you're preparing, you're getting information for the coaching staff essentially. So you're on a headset to the bench and you're relaying information to them. You see it a lot now on TV when they're the coaches challenges and stuff like that. Those are all those video coaches behind the scenes that are making those calls. So that job's become very important. Obviously you're tasked with a lot of the preparation and the pre-scouting of opponents. And then certainly, there's a lot of scouting that gets done from a player standpoint as well. But now that I'm in the role that I'm in, I'm kind of out of the video booth, so to speak, and on the bench. So I rely on it a ton still. Spent 4 or 5 hours today preparing for RIT this weekend. And then, we do so much of our recruiting through video. And then we do a lot of our post-game breakdown and teaching, and there's just so much that you can learn from it. And our players are religious about getting in and seeing clips and different teaching points that we use throughout the week with them. So it's a huge tool, and I'm really glad that I learned it so well when I was younger, because it's helped me immensely as a coach.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the using the video to teach the players. So, right, I don't coach hockey, but I live stream the game. So I take a lot of video. I make a lot of video. What is it that you're looking for, or what are the players looking to get out of that video? Because if there's some way that I could do a better job by including something, I would love to,
Yeah. Well, what we're looking for typically is just teaching. Like you're looking for, a lot of times it's a lot easier to do so when you've got a wider angle of the ice. You can see more of the play developing, more so than sometimes the broadcast feeds are zoomed in on, specific players, or they're zoomed in on a little quadrant of the ice. So you don't see what's happening in the other 90% of the ice surface. So that's usually a pretty important part, is being able to have a total view of the ice. And then it's nice to just I personally like to have the audio and be able to hear what's going on in the emotion of the game a little bit. It helps me pick up on some things, but it's mainly just the being able to see the rink and see how things are developing, and not following the puck around as much, but just kind of the zones.
That's good to hear, because I've got either, offense or defensive zone or the neutral zone. And if you're looking to pick up emotion of a game, I'm full of it. That's for sure.
There you go.
Dan actually broadcast the Hobart game this year for
Yep. It was Hobart against SUNY Potsdam.
Right.
That's what Tails was saying. Yeah. It was up in Alaska, right?
Yeah. You know what? You should check out the feed. YouTube, the Dan Dallin. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'll have to do that when I get a few minutes.
A little self-promotion. Hey, so I want to ask you about recruiting, because my daughter's a senior, and she's looking at gunnery school, which I know you're familiar with because you have some family members that went there, and I've talked to Chris a little bit about it, and I know Mike Marrick, who's the AD down there, sent some video down there. You're doing and that's the big thing I noticed. Like my daughter Tori's looking to probably do a PG year down there, and they're looking for, hey, send us some basketball video and send us some lacrosse video, and we want to, we want 3 or 4 minutes of that. That's a big, I guess, with COVID, right? That's the big thing. They don't go out to see players as much anymore.
Yeah, it's become the way of the world. It's unfortunate for a lot of people, but it's also a very nice tool. We weren't able to recruit for almost a year and a half during the COVID pandemic, and you miss that interaction. You learn so much from the prospective student, or the student athlete by meeting them and seeing them live. And you can pick up certain things through a video screen, but it's not everything. The way they interact with their teammates on the sidelines or on the bench, or, their body language away from the play, stuff like that are so important. But kind of going back to your question, it's great. We're so lucky now to be able to cover as much as we can because of the ease of technology and video. And, I get numerous emails every week from players and coaches with a 4 or 5 minute, clip of them, or, sometimes it's not always highlights. It's game situations that, they succeed or fail in, and, areas that they feel they can improve in, or how they can help your team win that aren't always goals, assists, or hits, or, fights, or any of that stuff. So it's a really nice tool. It's like I said, it's helped us cover a lot more area than just before. You go watch a game or 2 games when you're recruiting on a weekend, and those are the 60, 80 players that you get to watch that weekend. That's it. But now I can watch all of our committed kids on a weekly or nightly basis. I can see, kids that have emailed us, or, different tips that we've gotten from coaches out there. And we're able to watch it, and really get to know the player fairly in depth before we start the recruiting process, which is nice.
Yeah, they pick up on, it's funny, they picked up on, the coach got back to my daughter on, like, draw control and technique and height. And so they pick up on things that where everybody wants to show every single goal and stuff like that, but it's the coaches do have a different look into things. And I was just talking to a kid who's at Bridgeton Academy, who played at IHC here in Watertown, and he's looking to try to get into a Division III school down in New Hampshire, and he doesn't have no video. And the coach is like, you're playing at Bridgeton. I mean, all your games must be broadcast. Start pulling some video out of that and get it to us,
Yeah.
And that's a good lesson for the kids. There's a lot of high school kids and in junior high school kids that are listening too. And, if they want to advance their cause and play at SUNY Canton or Potsdam or bigger aspirations, they need to make sure that they have that.
The one thing that they need to do is separate themselves. Like I said, we get hundreds of emails a year from kids, and you try to reply to everyone. You try to give everyone that the personal interaction, but you have to find a way to separate yourself, because everybody, if you send something generic, and it's just, sometimes they send you a note and it's addressed to the wrong coach, and there's just a mass email going out, and you have to find a way to separate yourself. And that's, as a player, as an athlete as well. You have to play to your strengths, but then you have to find that one thing that you're exceptional at and be really good at that, and certainly showcase that. And so those are the things. I was talking to a coach earlier today. He was telling me about a player, and I said, well, what's his gift? Like, what's he going to do that's going to make him better than the other guys on my team? And so those things, when you're self-evaluating, your self-awareness as a young player or something, it's good to kind of reflect on those little attributes in your game, and certainly try to highlight them, whether that's, with that technology we were talking about, or in person while you're playing the game, and certainly practice and stuff like that.
That's a great question. What's your gift?
Yeah.
Mine?
No. Well, just asking that of a player, right? What are you going to bring to a team? What is your gift? That's fantastic. I love that perspective.
Because Coach Taylor talked to us about it. I mean, to listen to guys like Coach Taylor or Paul Flanagan, you listen to Wellesley, you listen to Moffel from Plattsburgh. I mean, they all bring a different, they all talk about the intangibles. They talk about, it isn't even about character is a big thing, obviously, with a lot of these guys. Like, if I get 2 amazing kids and I can't tell the difference, the character kid's going to win out every time. And,
Yeah.
like you said, just making a difference. Like, I imagine sending you an email and addressing it to, I don't know, addressing it to Clarkson University, and it's going to you at Niagara. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It happens a lot.
Right.
Mhm.
So how was the Beanpot? You coached in the Beanpot.
Yeah, that was actually this week. I was watching it.
Yeah.
I was watching it on a Monday night, but what an experience! Like being a Northern New York kid, I really had. You heard about the Beanpot, and you're like, whatever. It's these Boston schools and their arrogance and all that. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, when I got down there and I got to experience that, like I know why. Like it is everything that's advertised. It's a pretty neat experience. I mean, especially when you're playing that late game on the first Monday.
Yeah.
You get the police escort to the arena through the city of Boston, and it's just your fans. Like the student section's unbelievable. There's 18,000 fans in that place, and it's really amazing. And then fortunately, like I think it was my first year. Yeah, we lost in the finals. We never won one while I was there. Northeastern was on a huge drought for, I think it ended up being almost 30 years before they cashed in a few years back, and now they've been hot. But yeah, like we lost. I think it was to Boston University my first year, who went on to win the national championship that year, and we were 1-2 in the nation at that point. And I remember that Tuesday morning waking up after the second game, and it was like your season was over. Like it was the whole city felt like it was just quiet. I remember we had the day off. I went and got my hair cut, and somebody at the barber shop was like, "What happened last night?" I didn't even want to talk about it. Like it was just the most gut-wrenching thing ever. And the hardest thing to do was to get back on the horse for that Friday night. Like I think our guys, it was almost, they called it the Beanpot hangover.
Right.
But yeah, and so it's just an amazing experience. Like it's a polarizing experience. The city's into it. The fans are into it. Like the biggest challenge was you had to play a game on Friday night, and you usually practice Saturday, Sunday, played Monday, and that Friday game leading up was an extremely hard game to make sure that guys were dialed in for, because they were thinking about Monday, and there were so many distractions with people hounding them about tickets and family coming into town and all that stuff. So usually that team that was playing us Friday was licking their lips knowing that they were going to get a team that was looking forward to something else. So that was a huge challenge for our team, and something that we overcame. It wasn't an excuse or anything like that, but it was this different set of challenges that you had to deal with that others certainly didn't have to. But yeah, what an experience. Like I think I experienced 4 finals in my 5 years at Northeastern, which was something that the program really hadn't done. So credit to Greg Cronin and Jim Madigan. They certainly turned the tides there. And then Jim went on to win, I think, the last 3 outside of this year. So
when did Bruce Crowder was there for a while? I mean, I knew Bruce Crowder because I actually grew up in Massachusetts, so that's.
Oh, you did it.
I love listening to these guys. My buddy, I don't know if you know Glenn Tamaris, his son Bobby coaches with us, and Bobby he just like, you friggin' Massachusetts guys think you own hockey. He's this all the time. He's like, you guys, and I'm like, go to a Beanpot, dude. If you ever go to a Beanpot, it's like when into college. I mean, unless you're maybe in Minnesota or North Dakota, you're not going to find 18,000 fans watching your game.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah, like
was Crowder there before him? He was there in like 06, right? Early 2000s.
I believe Greg took over for Bruce in, I want to say like 2007.
Yeah.
6 or 7. Yeah. And so I never got to meet Bruce or work with him, but certainly heard a lot about him. And then, Greg departed for Toronto in 2011. So I spent, like I said, 2 more years there with Coach Madigan.
Did Crowder's kid play at UMass Lowell when you were coaching at Northeastern? Do you remember him?
I remember the name. I remember. I think his name was Paul. Crowder, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah. It was either during my time at Northeastern or at St. Lawrence that we would have played against him. But I remember the player. And yeah.
What do you got, Trey? What do you got? Any questions?
I don't think so.
Toronto Marlies? Huh?
What?
I said, you want to know about the Toronto Marlies?
Well, I know they have a pretty good Zamboni driver there.
Dave, yeah,
You do know him?
I do. Yeah, yeah. He used to put the pads on once in a while for us when I was there, and we always had staff skates on the game days, and he'd come out and play, and he was good. He was fun. He was a really good guy, just a
Right.
down to earth person, and it was pretty neat getting to see that, especially somebody that you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I was rooting for him.
He's probably the most famous emergency backup goalie in the history of hockey, right? I think.
No doubt. I think he's more famous than some guys that were actually rostered goalies that actually, you know, made it there. So
What's his last name? Dave? What?
Ayers.
yeah.
Dave Ayers. Yeah. See? Yeah.
Hey,
Carolina
Coach,
Hurricanes.
do you still follow any Potsdam hockey?
I do loosely. It's yeah. I mean, I always check the scores, and I love Barnyard up there, and he's a good guy, and we do camps together in the summer every once in a while. And
Right.
Alex Boak at Canton, and obviously Coach Taylor. So
Trying to get Bulky on here. So if you got any juice, we keep asking Bulk. I think he thinks we're below him. I'm like, come on, dude. I got Pierre McGuire coming on next week.
I'll give him a bump for you. He's
right.
a busy man, that guy. But yeah, he and I talk every once in a while, and he's such a good guy. So, I check all the scores, and it's hard to keep up with everybody all the time. But I check the scores usually every weekend and the stats and all that stuff. And there used to be a really good website called collegehockeystats.net that a guy by the name of Tim Danahy in Canton used to run, and that's what everybody in college hockey used to rely on for men's and women's hockey, Division 1, 2, and 3, and he isn't doing it anymore. So it's become a lot harder to get information every weekend that you're looking for, and I think the schools report their scores and stats into the college hockey news and USCHO, and so I think there's a lot of people out there in the NCAA that are looking for Danzer to get back in the game for us. It's made things a lot more challenging.
So I put up here, right? So this is from my feed. This is from that game at the barn, baby, right? So here.
Looks good. It's a good angle.
Yeah, see, that's what you want. You want to see positioning on like the full ice surface like that.
Yeah, this is good. I remember playing in that rink as a kid.
Do you?
It's cold. Yep.
You know what's funny
cold
is that it is cold. Trey was there last night broadcasting. We had our section 3. We IHC played Obey last night, and we lost. It was 1-1 going in the third. We lost 6-2. But Dan's son plays on Obey, so he was kind of happy.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good feed there. Nice and clear.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there you go.
Right. So this is what I provide. So you just saw the one goal. Barely.
We gotta get Niagara to play at Pulaski.
Yeah, that would be something. Well, my boss here, Jason Lammers, he's got some North Country ties too. He coached at Clarkson for a couple of years, and I think 2 different stints, and he actually worked at Hobart with Coach Taylor as well. So Coach Taylor's umbrella is unbelievable. Like he's got guys that have worked with him all over the place, and
man,
it's just a credit to him. I mean, he's developed so many really good coaches, and you get
talked to Chad Cassidy. He was a great guy to talk to too. Do you know Chad?
Yeah, I do.
He's in Cape Breton now. Man, he was a really interesting guy to talk to. He's talking to us about kind of the differences between the major junior route and in the NCAA route, and what's for this guy, what's for that guy. Is a really interesting guy to talk to, and they're actually back at it again. I've been following them a little bit.
Yeah,
and the Q was on a little bit of a pause, I guess, because of COVID, but
right.
They've been playing again. Wow. So anything we didn't hit, guys? We get to let Coach go, I guess.
Yeah, I'm always willing to stay and listen to hockey stories for days.
Yeah, I've got some more time here. So if you guys have anything more you want to ask,
Yeah.
I
So
I don't need to run, so to speak. But
what do you think? So young player like Trey here, he's a 14U, soon going to be a 15U. What can they focus on to start to get ready to make that move into junior or collegiate hockey? Goals and aspirations of one day playing in the Olympics or in the NHL?
yeah,
and not losing in a shootout. That was
well,
frustrating.
don't put too much pressure on yourself when it comes to that. It's honestly like even when they get to this point in their careers, it's a little bit more serious, but it all boils down to having fun and enjoying what you're doing. If you enjoy it every day and you enjoy the competitiveness and getting up and going to the rink and battling and being with your teammates and winning games, like it's never going to feel like a job or anything like that. So, it all boils down to just having fun and enjoying what you're doing and, working hard. And like we talked about earlier, like now is probably the time in your career that you need to start separating yourself from the others. And that's when that percentage kind of moves up the ladder. And, you do that with work, with, putting in the time and the time off the ice, being in the best shape you've ever been in your life. All those little things add up. And so that's kind of what we find at this age with, we don't start the recruiting. I know some people start the recruiting process at 14, 15 years old, and we're not doing that. We kind of wait until a kid's a little bit older, certainly before they come in to our program. But, there's guys that we've never spoken to, known of anything until they're 19, 20-year-old, you're a junior. And all of a sudden they come into school that next season and they become really good college players. So these times in your career are really critical to just make sure that you're doing everything you can to get better every single day. And it doesn't need to be huge increments. It can just be that little 1% that adds up, within a year. All of a sudden you look back and your development has taken off. And, but you're not going to do that unless you're having fun and enjoying it every single day. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give is enjoy the competition of it and the competition of your teammates, yourself, your opponents, all that stuff. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You have many walk-ons come in there at Niagara?
Yes. Yeah. We've had some, not necessarily in my time here. I could speak more to like my times at St. Lawrence or with Coach Taylor at Hobart.
Yep.
The old definition of a walk-on used to be somebody that showed up on campus with their bag and said, I want to try out. And that's it. I wouldn't say that happens as much anymore. My kind of how I view a walk-on now is somebody that, you're given a chance to, but you know who he is. You've evaluated him. You've done your homework. You've called his coaches. You've talked to his parents. You've talked to, equipment managers that he's been around to make sure that they're a good person for your culture and things like that. So, you asked that question, like, yeah, there's some guys that come in without scholarship money and things like that. And they sort of have to, like everybody else, have an opportunity to earn their ice time and get better and things like that. But we usually know who they are before they get to our campus. And, and it's usually a situation where we ask them if they'd like to come and join our team. It's not, we don't have like an open tryout or anything like here that we do. But, some of my, like a guy by the name of Kyle Rank, who's a great player for St. Lawrence, was a captain during my time there, actually went to St. Lawrence to play golf. And he had a guy on the team by the name of Adam Hogg and another guy, Simon Watson, who were guys that had come from his neck of the woods in Western Ontario. And Kyle was a hard worker, great player. He showed up and Coach Marsh gave him a chance. And he ended up being a captain and played in the American Hockey League and was a scholarship player at the end of it all. And and that happened actually with the guy I mentioned before him, Simon Watson, ended up being the same thing. So I just, Kyle ended up being a real close friend. I know that class, it's their reunion this summer. And I was talking to a bunch of them a couple weeks ago, and everybody's going to get together up in Canton this summer. And so the bonds of all that is amazing. But like Kyle, I'm just glad that, coach, that he earned his opportunity, because, his friendship wouldn't have been there had he not. And he, a testament to him for how hard he worked, and he made the best of his opportunity every single day. And then he ended up being someone that Coach Marsh wouldn't take out of the lineup. And that was it. He just was he was a staple. He's a captain. He ended up being an all-league player. And like I said, played in the American Hockey League, and he still had a pretty good golf game too.
Yeah, right. You always got the golf to fall back upon. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And even at Hobart, we had guys that, they came in with no promises, and they ended up, sometimes those guys, I tell you, they are the most motivated, because they know that they've got to earn it. And they, like I said, they get an opportunity, they take it and they run with it, and they end up making you look really good as a coach, because people are like, you brought that kid in. It's like, I really didn't. He did it himself. And so you always want to give those guys a lot of credit. They do a nice job. So
we're going to be coming out your way, Coach. I think the third weekend in March, our 14U team qualified for the state tournament. We beat Ogdensburg on Sunday 4-2. So we're coming out to Buffalo. So
good for you. Those are always big rivalries against the Berg. So I'm glad you guys knocked them off too.
Yeah, they're tough, boy. They were tough.
They always were. Now, are you guys? I know that our arena, Dwyer Arena, is hosting some of the state tournament. I'm not sure which levels, but will they be at our place?
I'm not sure. We're tier 3, so I'm not sure exactly where it is, but I think they probably sent us a message. I'm just not sure. Dan could probably look it up. I just know we're going to Buffalo, and we were really excited because we had it started out with 6 teams, and then all these teams started dropping. And and you'll love this because you know the North Country. It wound up that it was us, the Berg, and Chazy. And Chazy's got like 9 kids on their varsity team that are bantams. From Plattsburgh. So Chazy's been kind of rolling over everybody. So we played. You got to win. For us, it was just like, if we can beat them, we tied the Berg the first time we played them 1-1, and it was like this weekend, if we could beat them, you win, you're in. And 3-2 with a minute and something left, and they were putting the pressure on, and Dan's son Cam, who's usually on the podcast with us, scored an empty netter, and it was a pretty good feeling to be able to know that we're going to states. We haven't sent the 14U team to the states in quite a while. It's usually always really Ogdensburg and Chazy.
That's impressive. So, that's awesome. I know, like I said, our rivalry with the Berg runs deep, and couldn't stand them when I was a young guy either. So it's always fun to hear when they get
Where did you play youth? When you were youth hockey in Potsdam or in Canton, or where was that?
All my youth hockey in Canton, Canton, all the way up through and through high school and all that stuff. So I think I played 1 year on a team that was. I still played games in Canton that year, but I played with some kids my age that were kind of around the North Country, and I don't know if you call it a select team or not, because we weren't all that good, but it was fun. Some good relationships with guys from other towns and stuff like that. And some of my best friends are from Potsdam and Messina, so it was a lot of fun doing that.
Probably Rick Berkman, because every freaking guy I know knows Rick Berkman, right? So we. Bad. One of
my friend, I know you had little Josh Eurasian on the podcast a little while ago, and his uncle Josh, who passed away, was my college roommate. So he was on the lacrosse team at Potsdam, and so I became, I knew Coach Berkman through him and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was.
Josh is still in a boot. Josh is still in he collided with Trey in our game at the Pavilion, right, Trey?
Yeah, Trey landed on his leg, and he's the one that broke his freaking ankle.
He broke his ankle.
That's tough.
He's been pretty good about. We've had some duels with that Canton Bears team too, because they pull every time we play them. They pull about 5-6 kids off the steel, jump on that squad with them, and run us around the rink pretty good. My daughter actually played up there for a long time, and my wife played with Pam Mahoney. So I mean, at St. Lawrence. So we got some connection to, and I coach at Mike's summer lacrosse camp. So we got some connections up there as well. Danny Mahoney actually plays in the lacrosse program that we run, and so did John.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I know the Mahoney's
we
really
know a
well
bunch of the
too.
same people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome people. They're close with the Wellses, and my cousins and stuff are really, really close with them. So they're a great family.
So what's your just curious, what's the Niagara roster? Do you have any NHL draft picks on your roster? Or any kids that are going to the, any draft eligible kids or anything like that?
No, we had one kid that was drafted last year that was on our team, but he's playing pro now, and we don't currently have any right now. And typically, like I said earlier, we recruit an older player, so a lot of them aren't coming in till 2 years after their draft. So we're kind of relying on guys that'll be free agents down the road and stuff like that. So we've got a couple of guys that are on our team right now that, have a chance to do something like that. And then that's when you're recruiting, you're always looking for that. Don't even call them a hidden gem, but those players are going to develop into, really good college players, and then hopefully move on and play professionally at some level. So, there's been guys here that have done it, and we're certainly always trying to find the next one. So, yeah,
it's not like being at Michigan where they just walk in the door.
Yeah. Well, those guys work hard too. It's amazing. But
no, I know, but they're in a pretty fortuitous place right now over in Michigan with
we played them this year, and I think they had 7 first-round draft picks on the ice when we played them, and
wow.
It was amazing. I mean, they're obviously a good team, and those guys could zip it around pretty good.
Who's on their team, Trey, for first rounders? Do you know?
I don't know.
Michigan?
You got
I know some people. I just don't know everyone. Like they got Owen Power and Matty Beniers, Luke Hughes. There's 2 others that are like good too.
Kent Johnson.
Yeah, that's right.
Kent Mackie Samaskevich, and then they have Johnny Beecher, he's from Elmira, actually. Yeah,
he's a Boston Bruin property.
Yeah, I might even be missing somebody, but I've never seen that many first rounders on a roster. It's pretty amazing. Crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, and Quinnipiac still got their number though. I think Quinnipiac. Who's number 1 right now, coach, in Division 1?
Minnesota State. Last I knew in the polls, and then in the pairwise rankings, which the NCAA goes off of, that was still Michigan the last I checked. But
okay,
they're we played. So we played Michigan this year. We played North Dakota. So we played against Jake Sanderson, who's on the Olympic team for the U.S. And then we had Notre Dame and Penn State out of conference this year. So pretty tough schedule. But we got, we played against some of those kids that, were just recently drafted and will be very good NHL players here at some point. It's
Clarkson's rolling, coach. I was I went up. Clarkson's been rolling like crazy. I mean, they beat Quinnipiac. I went up there a couple of weeks ago. We were playing in a tournament in Ogdensburg, and they were playing Union, and I'm a St. Lawrence fan. Yeah. But I went over. I went over and with the Bantam team because my assistant coach went to Clarkson, and I had to bear all the heckling just to go over there. And I go in the door and it's 6-0 at the end of the first period. Clarkson over Union. I'm like, what is going on here? I mean, I know Clarkson's good, but it's 6-0 at the end of the first period. They beat Quinnipiac, I think. Yeah.
They did. Yeah, they're good. Yeah. They've done a really nice job there. Coach Jones and Mike Towns is there. He's a good friend of mine. And Josh Howgie, like they're rolling. Like you said, they've got a really good program. And I know I was talking with Sean Flanagan today, who's my best friend growing up, and he's at Cornell. They played him this weekend, so I know that he was doing a little pre-scout for them today. And
didn't he play? He played at St. Lawrence, right, Sean?
He did. Yeah. He and his brother Kyle. So yeah. And they're actually nephews of Coach Taylor, and then Paul Flanagan, who you mentioned earlier, they're nephew of his too.
This is how it all ties together, Dan. It's like a very small family tree up there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, like I go on the road.
I don't hear a lot of branches in that tree.
No, there's not a lot of
You go on the road and you're recruiting and you get caught talking to someone from the 315 or from Canton, and they all start chirping at you about being North Country Mafia and you know, all these guys out there trying to figure out how to become part of it. But it's a pretty exclusive group.
Like the guy we're trying to get on that's been elusive is Kevin Houle. And
Okay.
from Plattsburgh, and it's funny, we've had him lined up a couple times, right, Dan? And
Yeah.
we couldn't do it one night, and he couldn't do it another night. His program is unbelievable over there, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We got Moff on, but we couldn't get Houle on. But you know, like Dan says, like when's the last time like Houle lost, Dan? Like this year once?
Nah, he's got 2 losses this year already.
Oh,
Right?
does
So
he
he's
really?
done. He's done for the year.
Right.
Oh,
So
they
when's the
are? Oh,
No, I mean-
no, they're done like
He's
losing.
done losing.
They
for
will
the
lose.
year.
Yeah. 2 losses is a lot for Plattsburgh women's. I'll tell you that.
Right. We got
Yeah.
the
Looking
sports
at, the
book
guy's got
now.
like an 870 winning percentage in college hockey in like
He's
25
always right
years.
in the thick of it. You always look there at the end of the season, and they're right there. Them and Elmira and Norwich.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Now, when's your Atlantic Conference, right? That's Niagara.
Yeah.
When's your playoffs or your conference? How does that work? The championship.
So our conference tournament starts in we've got this weekend, we've got RIT, like I said, and then next weekend we play American International, and then the week after playoffs begin. So it's coming quick. Right after Christmas, things usually start to ramp up, and you play a lot of games, and there's not a lot of time. So the second half usually flies by. So now that you ask that question, it's amazing how quick they're coming. And you got to be really sharp and dialed in, because it could be over quickly if you're not. So it's exciting. Right now we're in a position that we're fighting for home ice and a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So, you know, we want to take care of business so we can get that rest for our guys and play at the Dwyer in the playoffs. So it's a nice home ice advantage for us.
Well, during any of that, if your TV or radio guy goes missing, or you need a color guy, I mean, it's a 3-hour drive, but I could be there in 2. It's all right.
100%.
Shameless self-promotion.
Somebody's gonna do it. My agent's on vacation.
There you go.
So
get you in here.
and I know this, we got to probably wrap it up here a little bit with you, but you've been a lot of places. Where's your favorite place to be? I mean, and let's leave. Okay, Niagara's your favorite place to be because you're there now. But before, you've been to Alaska, you've been to New England, you've been to Toronto, you've been all these different places. Everything's probably a little different, right?
That's a great question. Yeah, I tell you what, so being a small town guy, Boston was the first place I ever moved to from Canton, and it was fairly overwhelming for somebody that, you know, really only had to worry about 4 traffic lights and a couple gas stations, and you had
Hoot Owl.
Yeah, the Hoot Owl. You didn't have to make many decisions when you wanted to go have a beer or two. So
right.
So that was an exciting experience. And then, like I said, the bright lights of the Beanpot and Hockey East was pretty cool. And then and I had some great friends there. And then Toronto, same deal, like big city, got to experience the NHL, the American League. So I spent 2 years there. And then going back to Geneva, where Hobart is, I loved living there. It was an amazing spot, small town. It's kind of what I needed after being in 2 huge cities. But I would have to say probably my favorite place was Anchorage. I fell in love with it there. I'm an outdoorsman. I love to fish. I love to hunt, all that stuff. So I really took advantage of that, and probably, from the hockey side of things sort of went sideways. I'm sure you guys read on it a little bit, but the program was shut down in the summer of 2020, and we dealt with some challenges. But I worked with another North Country guy there, Matt Curley, who played at Clarkson, and he's from Madrid. He got the job and called me, and so I moved up there. But climate wise, the summers are amazing there. Obviously the winters are a little cold. Not much different than Canton, but they were longer. You look out your window in April and there'd still be snowbanks, and you're like, when is this going to end? But I had some great friends there. I still go up there in the summer, and I fish for a couple weeks in July. I got to fill my freezer full of salmon and halibut. So, you know,
You can always
I'm
go to
really fond of
Pulaski for salmon.
That's
And
right.
Dan gives you a
It's not
tour.
the same.
No.
No, I've seen those things. No, it's. I know that it's pretty popular. Actually, the Niagara River's got huge king salmon too.
Does it?
Yeah, no, that whole Alaskan experience is something. When there's 60, 70,000 sockeye dumping into the Kenai River every day, and you're out there hooking them, it's pretty wild. So that run is unlike anything else.
We don't have bears. You don't have to fight with bears for the salmon in Alaska.
That was the fun of it, though. That was the fun of it. I had a couple close encounters, but yeah, I know that's a very long-winded answer, but every place has had some great pluses to it, and there haven't been a lot of negatives. But I think overall, like, yeah, I'm really fond of what I got to experience up there, and I'm glad I'm home though. I'm glad I'm back in New York. I know my parents are, and it was good timing. Like when I moved back, my younger brother and his wife had my nephew, and so I've gotten to be part of his life a little bit more than I would have been when I was in Alaska. But so a lot of things happen for a good reason. But
Yeah.
I really liked it there.
You know who I was thinking is out in Buffalo too? Is I don't know. Do you know anybody from the Nazareth team, the Nazareth program? Cole Moore's
Coach Roll.
Cole Moore's a kid from back here.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, Cole.
So he's from Canton, but he was.
Yep.
So I think he's my cousin Bobby's age.
Yeah.
So I don't.
There's that
I
tree
don't
again.
know Cole. I don't know Cole like personally, but yeah, obviously.
Good kid. Yeah, we know him. Trey, you gave Trey some. You got some lacrosse gloves from, didn't you, Trey?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Really
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he plays lacrosse and hockey over there at Naz.
Yeah, we used to play them when I was at Hobart. They were in our conference there for the first couple of years. So, and then yeah, but by the time I left home, he was probably in that high school age group where I didn't, I wasn't around much, so
yeah,
didn't get to see a whole lot of them.
Did you play lacrosse in Canton?
I did, and I did all the way up until high school. I decided I should have stuck with lacrosse. I loved lacrosse. It was a great game, but I ended up playing on the golf team in the spring. So that was kind of my thing was, So once I could do that competitively, I did that. And I don't necessarily regret it, but I really liked lacrosse, and it was something I wish I had stuck with because it was so much fun.
Yeah, well, you got the St. Lawrence Golf Club over there. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Berkman's son's a hell of a player. You should see that kid play.
I've read about him a lot. Yeah.
He won the championship. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Shoots the lights out. Yeah,
right.
He does things that I can only dream of doing out there. It's pretty humbling.
What do you got? Anything else, guys?
I don't know.
22, 21, and 6. That's your name.
Yep.
Were those your line mates?
I'm going to venture a guess to say that's the current record of the Vancouver Canucks.
Yep.
Oh, you're a Vancouver fan?
Yep.
What makes you a Vancouver fan?
There you go.
Poor
he was born in New Hampshire. We're from Massachusetts, and he lives like. Hey, you know what we got to do?
How did you become to be a fan of Vancouver?
I don't know. I just like them. I just like their players, and I like the Sedins.
Oh yeah.
And then he likes American players, and there's a lot. They're loaded with American talent over there. So he's a big fan of Hughes and Brock Besser and JT Miller,
Thatcher Demko.
Yep. Hey, you're not wrong. They're it's just funny to hear a New York person really cheer for Vancouver, but I agree with you. They got some really good young players there.
Yeah.
You know what we did this year, Coach? Just making some small talk is Trey and I went to Buffalo for the rookie challenge that the Buffalo Sabres hosted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Sabres rookies, the Bruins rookies, and the New Jersey Devils rookies. And they played in not the main arena, but the practice rink that they use.
Yeah.
And we had a really good time. I mean, we got to meet Don Sweeney was there. We met the Bruins training staff, and who else did we see? Trace, the kid that was drafted pretty high from New Jersey.
Alexander Holtz.
Alexander Holtz.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
those,
they did
that. It
those
was
pretty
tournaments
cool.
are amazing.
Fourth, maybe fifth, sixth, something like that.
Yeah.
Swedish, I think.
Yeah,
No, not
those
Swedish.
tournaments are awesome. When I was with the Maple Leafs, we did our rookie tournament in London, Ontario, and it was always Pittsburgh, Montreal, and Ottawa. I think were the other three teams, and all their prospects were there. And like, it really puts into perspective how talented those kids are at 18, 19 years old, and I mean, they're on another level. So it's cool. It's cool to watch them play against each other too, because when they get to the National Hockey League, it's obviously you're playing against grown men and they get equalized a little bit, but and then you really appreciate the ones that get into the league at that age and then take off. It's really hard to do, but yeah, that's cool that you got to experience that though.
Yeah, it was just like really intimate. You know what I mean? I think it was $10 to get in the game. It was in the little practice rink. All the guys, like the New Jersey Devils, are sitting. All their prospects are sitting right with you in the stands watching the Bruins play. Buffalo. And then you see some guys that actually make it. What's the guy from Buffalo that made it, Trey? He was with the team this year. The kid that was collecting all those goals in front of the net. He's pretty good. Big
I
kid.
can't think of his name, but
yeah.
His last name is Murray, but I can't think of his first
Murray.
name.
Oh yeah, Brett Murray. Yeah.
Yeah. Brett Murray.
Yeah,
he was.
He's had a good year so far.
Yeah. So we'll make
awesome.
an effort. I didn't realize that the teams did that, and then we saw the thing go out for it, and it's like, oh, geez, it's a pretty good place to go see hockey.
Yeah, that usually happens like a week before training camps open up.
Yep.
So I know there's a few different rookie tournaments that happen, and they're great events. Like I said, the one that we used to be at in London was, I think there was 8,000 or 9,000 fans every night. And it was a heck of an event. So those guys are fighting for training camp spots and trying to get to the main camp with the big guys. And so there's a lot of battle going on during those games.
Now, was Johnny Beecher there, Trey? He might have been there actually. Or would he have? No, he would not have been able to do that, right, Coach? He can't. He can't do
probably
that.
not. He probably would have been at school. Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're allowed to do it as amateurs.
Well, I know Fabian Lysell was only 17 maybe, or 18.
No, he's 18 because he had to.
But he plays in the WHL, not the NCAA.
Yeah. So those NCAA guys, they're at school during that point. So it's I don't think that they would be able to play in those exhibition games, those scrimmages either, because of amateur rules. But they can go to, like, development camp happens in July usually after the draft, and they'll go to that, and they'll be there for a week type of thing, and they might do inter squad games, but I don't believe that they can play against another organization's rookies.
Yeah. And it wasn't Beecher. It was another one of the big defensemen that the Bruins had drafted. And I can't think of what it was, but it was, needless to say, it was a pretty good time. Sure.
That's great. Do you ever go and watch any of the American League games? Like go down to Rochester and watch the Americans or anything like that?
I haven't. Have you been to a Syracuse game, Dan? I haven't been to a Syracuse game. Yeah.
I haven't been to a Syracuse game. Like a crunch game, not unless my kids have been, playing in between intermission. They haven't been a mite in a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
My brother-in-law used to be in charge of operations for the Rochester Americans. He was there when they won the Calder Cup.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of really cool stories from that.
I bet.
But yeah, he went to St. John's. He graduated with a sports broadcasting degree. So he went into ticket sales.
Very good.
But the thing, the access that he has to that whole just the hockey world. When we lived in Albany, he got his tickets out to the River Rats, and here in Syracuse, he got his tickets up on the glass. That's when Estelle was 3 years old. She's my 12U now, and she tracked the puck the whole time. She could not get her eyes off of the puck. She is the reason that any of the kids play hockey, because she needed to play hockey. So we had to go find an organization for her.
That's pretty cool.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. My oldest he's a senior, just had his senior night, and he thanked her for getting the family into hockey.
Wow. That's a good perspective to have. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
It's a good
I'd
level,
rather
though.
like
It's fun to go watch.
even back home. Like I've always been more because we had the American Hockey League didn't flourish in New England. Like when I was a kid, it was just because they were they're competing against Northeastern BC, BU, UMass Lowell, Merrimack, all UNH, all those teams are right there. So when I was growing up, it was like just college hockey was so much, so omnipresent, and it still is. I mean, that I think it's one of the reasons like the Lock Monsters didn't make it in Lowell, Mass, and these and a lot of the teams who had relationships with West Coast teams wound up moving out there because it was just easier for them to get their picks and stuff like that. I don't even know that there's much of an American Hockey League presence in New England now because the Monarchs are gone, the Providence Bruins, I guess, but that's about it.
Right. Well,
I
you've
think-
got the Bridgewater or Bridgehampton Islanders.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right.
And Springfield is still there.
Oh, they still have Springfield. Okay.
Who's Springfield with? I don't even remember who's. They might be. It's not Columbus. It used to be Columbus that was their affiliate. I don't even remember who
Okay.
they're with anymore. But those affiliations changed so much.
Yeah.
They really do.
I
Yeah.
don't remember, but that's where American International plays. Though, is out of their arena. So
Yeah.
usually when we're down there, yeah, it's
There's some
There's-
East
there's
Coast
a good
Hockey
going.
League teams there now, like the Worcester Railers are there. But my nephew
Yep.
plays in that rink. If you
Yep.
ever get down there, let me know. My brother-in-law owns the brewery that's right in that rink. So
Oh, no kidding.
Bay
Well,
State
that's
Brewery,
where
it's right in there.
Holy Cross is right
Yep.
there. So we stay right kind of near the rink, but they play on their own campus. So it's that's good to know though. Yeah, we make it down there at least once a year.
Well, let me know because he's a North Country kid, played hockey at IHC, and he'd be more than willing to have you guys over. At least the guys
Right
that can
on.
come over.
Just the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's the coaching staff.
So,
All right, Coach. I
that's
think
great.
we won't keep you. We've had you for over an hour, and we really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. I know I was looking forward to doing this with you guys, so I appreciate you having me on.
On behalf of everybody, big thanks. If you think of it, the pay it forward thing's big for us because we don't have a lot of the connections that you have, and Coach was able to hook us up with you. So if you think of somebody that you say, hey, this guy's a North Country guy, or this guy has some ties to the North Country in coaching or playing capacity, somebody like Alex Tuck, for instance,
Yeah.
but anybody you could think of that might, say, hey, jump on with these guys because, we'd love to interview them and talk with them. And then we got about 500 followers right now that follow the little thing we're doing, and from Malone Minor Hockey and Canton and Potsdam all the way down to Central New York, CNS and Syracuse Nats and all those guys. So it's pretty cool.
Well, that's impressive, and certainly appreciate you doing this. And it's always nice to be able to hear different people's perspective on things. And I wish I had this when I was a kid growing up and hearing coaches talk and hear what they're looking for. It might have motivated me a little bit differently as a player, or it might have taught me something that might have helped me out. So I know it takes a lot of work on your guys' behalf to do this, and so really appreciate the time that you put in and doing this so that other people can benefit from it.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you being on.
All
Good
right.
luck this weekend. Good luck in the playoffs. We'll keep in touch with you. We'll follow you. And if we can somehow get over your way during the States, maybe we'll try to do that. And if you know of anybody that can join us, send them our way. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
I appreciate you tolerating me while I've been playing with this stuff while you guys are talking. Yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I just figured out some new things.
We're always trying to enhance the podcast. So actually, when you see the podcast, if you watch it on YouTube, Dan has now a frame around it that has everybody's name and stuff, which is really cool.
So it's not just this, but
it'll be better.
We'll see.
Well, that's cool.
Working
That's
on it.
awesome. Always
Hopefully-
getting better.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see you when we come out to Buffalo. It'd be really cool if we were there at Niagara.
Yeah, certainly get a hold of me when you do, and if I'm around and not on the road, or hopefully we're still playing. So that would be that'd be a nice reason not to see you. But
Right.
certainly if I were to be around, love to meet up at some point.
Yeah. All right, Coach.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks
All
a
right.
lot.
Appreciate you
Thanks,
having me
Coach.
on. Have a great night, and good luck here going forward.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks. You too. We'll be watching.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got all kinds of different stuff going on there now, Dan. You got like rinks in the background. And
You like that?
this is pretty cool. What game is that?
That is a game that knocked Estelle out of state competition.
Oh, geez.
That is Oswego and the Rome Grizzlies. And yeah, so
What was the score?
the final score was 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Why is that going through?
Geez, I'm wondering where Coach McKenna from the Mountaineers hockey team is. I don't think he jumped on with us. I thought he was going to jump on. I was going to send him a message.
Yeah.
Trey, what do you have do you have Trey's trivia today?
Yeah, I do.
Why don't you run through Trey's trivia while we're here, and we'll figure out what's going on. 22,
Okay.
21, and 6.
First question. Why
Yep.
did Wayne Gretzky wear number 99?
I'm thinking some kind of tribute to like Gordie Howe and Bobby Hull or something like that,
Yeah.
because they both wore 9.
I do believe that was it. I'm going with that.
Something like that.
Tribute to Gordie Howe, Bobby Hull?
Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yes, it was a tribute to his favorite player, Gordie Howe.
Okay.
Gordie Howe. Yeah.
Nope. Because that was his favorite player. That was his inspiration. So,
Wonder why I didn't just go with 9, because like that's what Gordie was, right? Just 9.
because he wanted
straight up.
to respect Gordie. So I think he. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure he wore 9 during his youth days.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Cool.
And
That's
also
good.
why? Because this is Gretzky. One day he could have his number permanently retired. He had foresight. He had foresight.
Yep.
All right, next up, bro.
This is a Sabres question. Which 3 players made up the French Connection line?
Oh my God.
I know.
I can't think
I know
of
it.
it now. The Karen loves the French Connection. Oh, I should totally know. Out of respect for Mike, I'm going to let him say who they are. How's that?
Gilbert Perreault, Richard Martin, and René Robert. And René Robert just passed away recently.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
I did not see that.
I
Nope.
didn't either, actually. That is correct, though.
Yep. Yeah, that was Trey. That was my heyday as a kid. I was around 12 years old then. Mid-70s. The Buffalo Sabres were very good, and they were a very good line.
When did they get McGillney? Like 90s?
Oh yeah, in the 90s. That
Yeah.
was after McGillney was the first. I believe Alexander McGillney was the first Russian to come. He was actually a Soviet. His first Soviet to play in the NHL. He defected.
So that was late 80s, wasn't it? Like
Yeah, late 80s.
88?
You're right. Yeah, it was 88. You're right. Because when did the Soviet fall? I mean, they fell in the Reagan administration, didn't they?
Yeah, it was Reagan.
So yeah, maybe it was 86 or so. Oh, all right. Last trivia question.
This one's going to be easy for you, Dad.
I won't
Who
answer.
leads the Bruins all time in points?
Oh, easy. I can tell you 1, 2, 3. I bet. Number 1 all time is Raymond Bourque.
Bork. I love saying that name. Bork.
Yes, it is.
See that?
Who's 2 and 3? Let's hear it.
Number 2 is probably, I'm guessing number 2 on the Boston Bruins all time in points is John Busick. And I would say number 3 is probably Phil Esposito.
Yeah,
Even though he left.
I don't think Busick and Esposito are flipped, right? No?
No. Busick was a 500 goal scorer, bro. 500 goals. And he never had a 50 goal season, which is amazing.
Yeah, but Esposito wasn't a 500 goal scorer?
Oh yeah, he definitely was. But you got to remember it from 70, 77, 78 on, he was a New York Ranger. And before that, before he was at the Bruins, he was with the Chicago Blackhawks for a little while. So he wasn't a lifetime Bruin.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hey, we are graced by the presence of Mark McKenna.
You know, sir.
How are you?
Coach, how are you?
Apologize, Mike and Dan. I got late at work and I just got home. I apologize.
It's all right.
No worries. We were on actually with Mark Phalon, who's the coach of Niagara University hockey. He's a Canton kid.
Yeah, he's a Canton guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I skated with his dad Sunday nights.
Jeepers crow. Here goes the family tree again. Everybody we talked to from Canton's related to Paul Flanagan, and everybody's related to Chad Cassidy, and
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Small town. Yeah.
Hey, so we'll jump into it then, because it's good to have you on from the Mountain Warriors Sled Hockey team. Mark McKenna, the coach, Canton native, longtime hockey coach. And I was wondering, Mark, maybe if you could just kind of tell us a little bit about your background in hockey from a young age, and then maybe get into telling us a little bit about how the team was formed and what the team's all about.
I'd be glad to. Started skating when I was 3 years old. Came up through Canton minor hockey. Played high school, and my senior year dislocated my shoulder, so I had all northern my junior year, so kind of blew my chances for college hockey. I played soccer in college, and still tried out for the team at SUNY Canton. Terry Martin was the coach, but he already had his team picked out, so I ended up playing soccer there. But I started coaching when I was going to SUNY Canton at 18. Actually, Mark Taylor and myself, we coached the PWC team here in Canton. And been coaching ever since. Went to RIT, coached in Rochester. Every place I moved, Albany, Clifton Park, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, I've coached, and then moved back home and continued coaching. I moved back home about 2000. Coached the Peewees and the Bantams here in Canton for a number of years. So I got, at that time, I had over 30 years coaching after moving back. And then hockey is getting expensive up here in Canton, and there's only one hockey shop, MVP in Potsdam, and the guy was charging outrageous prices. And every time I had a team from Clifton Park or Saratoga or even here in Canton, I would take them over to Flero Hockey Stick Factory in Cornwall, and it's a 35-step process to make a wooden stick, and took the kids through the factory and made the backdoor deal with Dennis Flero, and every kid got a stick on my team, and the goalie got the goalie stick. And then in 2005, he launched the Support Our Troops Canadian stick. And I said, hey, we're allies in this war. I want you to launch the Support Our Troops USA stick. And he said, I would, if I don't have a store in the States. And I said, well, if I open up a hockey shop in the States, and I helped design the Support Our Troops USA stick. And I did, and I had a little hockey shop. So I made it affordable to kids. We partnered with CCM and Bauer, and got some discount equipment, and made it more affordable to kids. All they had to do, CCM had a one goal program where they would have the bag and equipment, and all the kids had to do was buy skates and a stick. And so we made it affordable to kids there, and then coached them a number of years, and Peewees and Bantams. And then in 2010, 2011, I was working out in the gym at Fort Drum, and a kid came in a wheelchair and couldn't reach certain pieces of equipment. The pull-up bar was too high, and then the wrestling mat was in the way for the dumbbells, and turned around and left. And it's too quick for me. I couldn't catch him, but I went to the manager and I said, hey, you got some equipment issues. And he had no clue, no idea. So I said, you got two pull-up bars. Why don't you lower one to wheelchair height and get rid of this wrestling mat just in the way of the dumbbells? And I said, do you have wheelchair basketball or sled hockey? He goes, never heard of sled hockey, and we don't have wheelchair basketball. And I got our commute from Fort Drum, where I work as a civil engineer. We build buildings for the soldiers. And I said, why not start a sled hockey team on my way home? And called Joe Marsh at the time. He was a coach for St. Lawrence University, and George Roll was a coach at Clarkson at the time. Pat was a coach at SUNY Canton, and the coach at SUNY Potsdam. He's still there. Anyway, called them all up, and they were gracious enough to donate their used equipment to help me start our program. I contacted USA Hockey. They had a sled lending program, and if I had a 2-day event, they would lend me the sleds for free. I just had to pay shipping return. So we did that. We had a 1 day in Fort Drum. I went to the Warriors in Transition Unit, talked to the Lieutenant Colonel there to get the guys and girls to sign up that were disabled. We had 24 soldiers sign up, and we made special camouflage jerseys, and we had one event there on a Friday. Then they had another event here on a Saturday. And I picked that Saturday where St. Lawrence and Clarkson weren't having any boys or girls games. And we packed the place. We had about 500 people in the stands.
Wow.
And, wow, this is amazing. And the soldiers were just so appreciative. And just to see the smiles on their faces, I'm like, hey, I got to start something here. And I quit the shop and coaching Peewees and Bantams, and said, why not start a sled hockey team? And basically that's how I started, recruiting guys and girls, chasing wheelchairs, handing out business cards. And my comeback line is, yeah, you can play wheelchair basketball, but you can't hit anybody. It's hockey. You can hit somebody in the boards. We'll have a beer and dinner afterwards. And make friends. And actually, this is my 11th year doing it. And I wouldn't be anywhere without the support for our VFWs, our Knights of Columbus, and our Society of American Military Engineers at Fort Drum, because I can't solicit. I work for the government. So the Society of American Military Engineers can solicit different contractors and get the money, so we get third party. I'm just a coach. My treasurer sees that. But the North Country has been so generous. All the colleges, St. Lawrence, Clarkson. Clarkson always has this Warrior Fest. We just had that a couple weeks ago in early February at Clarkson, where we usually play this Kingston team, but with COVID, they couldn't come over, so we played Syracuse this year. And they raise money and get us money for that. And then St. Lawrence does the same. They get us equipment. So, without the support for the local colleges and support from local businesses, I'd be nowhere.
Yeah.
And, and I had 3 of my soldiers tell me without the sled hockey, they would have committed suicide.
Yeah.
Well, got to keep this going. And out of the 10, 11 years I've been doing this, we met 4 Paralympians from the Buffalo veteran team. And we met 4 Paralympians from Team Canada from Ottawa and Durham near Toronto and Kingston. So, just a really cool experience. And I mean, how can you go around and say, hey, I met 8 Olympians, 4 from the US and 4 from Canada in a short span of less than 10 years,
Yeah. Where do Coach, where do most of your players come from? And then where do you guys travel around? Because I know you said at one point, I think you may have been in Boston or something like that. Do you guys?
Yeah, we were in
different
Boston this
tournaments?
past weekend.
Okay.
I got a cousin that works at Middlesex Prep School,
Mhm.
and we go there every year and we put the kids in the sleds. We kind of split our team up and their team up, so it's not even. It's kind of even up, and give the kids an experience of how it feels to be in a sled. And then if you're disabled, you can still play the sport that you love. I recruit mostly guys from the Fort Drum, but I have got other guys from Messina that are. One guy fell off a crane, injured his back. He's paralyzed from the chest down. Another guy's from Augsburg, a civilian, was in a motorcycle accident. He's paralyzed from the chest down. Sarah was in a car accident. She's paralyzed from the chest down. But you put them in a sled, you're strapped in. And if you have feet, the sled extends out. If you don't have any feet, their legs, the sled collapses in. And there's only 2 sled manufacturers, one in the U.S., one in Canada. The one in the U.S. is Mobility Sports out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Randy Kwapkis. And the other Better Sled is up in Canada, made by Laurie Howlett from Unique Inventions in Peterborough, Ontario. And he's the one that actually makes them for the Paralympians from all the countries. They use his chassis for a sled. But the bucket seat is specially molded to their torso, especially the guys without any legs. So seat there. But we travel all over New York State, go to Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, go to Boston, even Long Island. One of my soldiers moved back home to Long Island, so we track out there and play a couple games there in Long Island. And then we even gone far south as Maryland in the tournament, all veteran tournament down there. So then we go up to Ottawa and Kingston. Kingston, we play outdoors behind City Hall. They have a nice outdoor rink. It's right there. In fact, this one building right next to City Hall, it's a little round rotunda building, round and limestone, matches the City Hall. And that's where they keep the Zamboni. It's pretty cool.
One thing I noticed, Coach, is that when I've seen certain rinks are designed or have a modification for the sled to go in and out of the bench. Is that a challenge for you at different arenas that you are?
It's a challenge. What we usually do, Mike and Dan and the other guy there,
that's Trey. That's our son. He's 21.
Oh, okay.
He's
hey,
20,
how you doing?
He's 22, 21, and 6 because he's a Vancouver Canucks fan, and that's
gotcha.
their record.
But no, I appreciate you guys having me. But what we do is rinks that aren't adaptive for the sled hockey, we line them up between the red line and the blue line. And then I have this triangle piece of board. It's like a 2x6 with little nails, finishing nails that I clip off, and it attaches to the ice, and it goes against the blue line. And then the other board, 45, goes against the blue line on the other side. So your teams line up between the red line and goal line, or the blue line and red line. So if the puck comes around, it's going to hit that board, kick it back out to center ice, where if you don't have the board, it's going to go into your players, and then you got to some players will kick it out and you can continue to play. Some players keep it in, and then you have to blow the play dead. The challenge for the rinks that are already handicap adaptable for sled hockey, you have to come in one gate, but you got to get your lineup going out the other gate. And it's tough because the benches are flipped up, so then you have the official ice in the back there. But the problem is, if I have a defenseman come in and I have a winger on the other gate, one's coming in one gate, and I have to shuffle people around to get the other guy get up. So that's a challenge. So you kind of have to plan it accordingly when we play with those type of boards. Now there's another type of board that actually goes on the ice. That's another smaller, lower board, and it has a thing that they just tried this new invention out over in Colorado 2 years ago, and it's kind of expensive, but right now the rinks can't afford that right now. It's
right.
So, but it takes up most of the ice, so because you're boxing out part of the ice with the little plastic board that comes maybe 2.5 feet high, but it has one opening, but the other opening's closed, so you still have to shuffle people around. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, I never thought of the challenges on the bench. Even if you had, now, you know, I've obviously watched sled hockey in the Olympics, and I never realized how they move around inside the box. Like, how do you if you need to get a power play out there, you got to move guys around, or a penalty.
You got to move
right?
guys around. I think the rinks that they have for the Olympics are a little bit bigger behind the bench.
Okay.
And guys that they're on the Paralympian team, they don't have legs, so they can move around a little quicker because their sleds are shorter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you just
Yeah,
have so.
Dan and I were talking today. How are players are allowed to use two sticks? That's how? And where do the sticks come from, Coach? Because I noticed
the sticks come from the same suppliers that make the sleds. Here does make a sled or a stick. We usually take broken hockey sticks, broken carbon fiber shafts, cut them down to the right size, put a stick of wood in the end, re-drill the hole for the picks on the butt end. But your blades are about a 120-degree angle from your shaft. So some of the Warrior blades, you can buy just a blade and then shove the piece into the broken stick that you cut off to make it your right length, and it's come up from the ice to your shoulder height for proper size of the stick. But what's nice about sled hockey, you can shoot both right hand and left hand. So a lot of people are right hand dominated, but they need to learn how to shoot with their left and also pass with their left and their right. But the suppliers, I would say Unique carries them, and Mobility carries the sticks, but you can also get them from Warrior.
Yeah, it just seems like it would be a really good opportunity for CCM and Bauer to get involved in that too. I mean, they're the major manufacturers.
I think Bauer's looking at getting in that, and I think CCM's looking to get in that too.
Right. And the sticks actually have like a nail or a pick on the end. That's how the guys are able to propel themselves.
It's like a metal.
Oh, geez, look at that! I never seen that before.
I might have it in the background here.
Right, so I think this is what Coach McKenna was talking about, the this new design for a bench, right? That pops right onto the ice.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's what I was talking about right there. Expensive. That takes up some of the ice right there.
Yeah,
but that's this here. Here's the pick.
Oh wow,
3 prongs on the end of the stick.
Wow.
Then you got the bolts right here that bolts through. There's a couple bolts here.
Yeah.
So and you just drill those. So this is wood. This is a wooden stick.
Okay.
ProLite, that's made up by Lori by Unique Inventions. And this was signed by Adam Page, one of the Paralympians from Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah, look at the look at the blade on that stick, Coach. Is a really different angle, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's your angle.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool though. Sochi 2014 gold. Huh? That's that's awesome.
So when do they play? When are they? Do they play after the Olympics?
They'll be playing in March. The first weekend in March, the Paralympians will be playing. Yeah.
And in China, right?
They'll be playing in Beijing. Yes.
Yep. Make sure to watch that.
Yeah, that'll be on Peacock also, right? They stay there. They broadcast it all as well.
Yeah.
So about how many, about, I got a couple questions to this. About how many players do you have on your team? You must have a big squad because certain people probably can't make it at certain times and things like that, right?
That's true. We usually have about 16 to 18, but with COVID, we had a couple of soldiers move on me. So right now I've got like 12.
Okay.
Goalie just left me, so I had to suck it up and play goalie. So I'm like, Reggie Dunlap, player coach, eh?
Right.
Slap shot reference.
Yeah. Is it pretty well known at Fort Drum? Because I know that's probably a place where there's a lot of access to.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. The problem I've got with Fort Drum is the only support I have from Fort Drum is the unit and the 10th Mountain Division Association, which is a charter member by older retired soldiers. And they'll donate to my team. But the problem in Watertown, even getting ice over there, they charge me full price. And I'm like, listen, we're disabled. We try to raise enough money in our tournament every March here, the first weekend in March. I have Syracuse, Buffalo, our Fort Drum guys. So, and then I have the Canadians, Ottawa, Kingston, and Durham to Toronto. We play 16 games in 3 days. There's no tournament fee. All the food is catered. All the teams have to do is no tournament fee, nothing like that. All I have to do is pay for the hotel, and everything else is covered. And we have NHL guys donating stuff. Mike Ruzioni donates an autographed pitcher or a jersey or a stick every year. And, just the support that we have from, everybody in this community has been great. Bogosian's donated a jersey, local kid from Messina.
Yep.
Greg Conroy, way back when he was with Calgary, donated a jersey. Reason away from Rochester, his parents were up here, grew up in Canton. So, he was on the Long Island team. So really the support has just been unbelievable here from everybody.
So what I'm wondering is, I think it'd be a great. I coach a 14U team. As a matter of fact, we play Canton often and in Ogdensburg and have a great relationship up with those guys up there and have some close ties up there. I'd love to be able to have my 14. I have my 14U's experience how to play sled hockey.
Sure.
And play against the team. I think that would be a really
Yeah,
awesome opportunity.
It'd be a great experience. And like I said, we raised enough money the first couple of years. We were able to purchase 30 sleds. We have 15 from Unique and 15 from Mobility. So we have beginner sleds for kids that are just trying out, and we have other sleds that are a little bit more advanced. So yeah, by all means, bring them up. We'll put them in sleds. We'll split up the teams and have a little scrimmage.
Yeah, we'd love to. We'd pay for the renting of some ice just to be able to. Because I know my kids.
The thing is, there in Canton, between SUNY Canton, St. Lawrence University, and the Pavilion, they'll donate the ice to me here.
Yeah, did you play against the? Was there something you guys played against the Saints? I thought I saw something where you guys played.
We had the Saints. See, with the NCAA rules, they have to wait either before the season or at the end of the season.
Okay.
To play them, the boys and the girls teams at the end of the season. We'll get them in sleds and have a little go at it. Same thing with we're trying to do it with Clarkson, but we just couldn't get the right dates. So
right,
we're still working that.
Mike, I wonder what about after states? We still have our practice slot times.
Yeah.
In Watertown.
Yeah. Be great. I mean, with the Fort Drum following that we have and the connections. John Terry works on Fort Drum. He's on our team, and that'd be really fun.
Yeah. Hey,
where are you guys based out of Watertown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could live stream it.
Yeah, you can live stream
on
because
YouTube.
He broadcasts live stream on YouTube.
Oh,
that'd be really interesting.
Really fun.
Yeah. Trey's on the team. Dan's son Cam's on the team. Yeah, we were up at the Pavilion. We were just talking Coach about it. Coach Phalon from Niagara. We were up there 2 months ago playing in the Pavilion, and Trey collided with Josh Arasian and had a little broken leg accident on Josh Arasian.
I heard that.
Yeah, that was us. That was our team.
Oh, okay. The other thing too is we had the unit there a couple of years ago, trying to recruit more kids soldiers from the unit at WTU at Fort Drum. when I first started with the lieutenant colonel, I got maybe 3 or 4 people signed up. And when we did this 10th Mountain tribute to the 10th Mountain Soldier, I don't know if you saw that goalie helmet that we had a couple of years ago in the paper, but we did a World War II ski trooper on one side of the helmet and a soldier from Afghanistan on the other. Well, that got the general's attention. He got me in to see him at the headquarters, show him the, I mean, I'm the only civilian that got to see headquarters with the goalie mask. And, but I convinced him to build an outdoor rink at Fort Drum that year. At the same time, I said, I want to get a practice, but I'm having trouble getting guys from the WTU. I had like 3 guys signed up. So he put the word out like, hey, we have another week left and you better show up. And actually he himself came to practice.
Wow.
His kid in youth hockey through USA Hockey and put his skates on, came out, helped me coach. We did a 4-station thing to get the guys warmed up in the thing. We'll do that with your kids too, to get them used to the sled, how to stop, how to turn, how to pass. And then have a scrimmage. And we did that. And actually he got in the sled himself. So I got a picture of a 2-star general in a sled.
That's awesome.
So how long does that take to teach these kids how to like operate the sled, stop, turn,
Well,
patch,
it doesn't,
shoot?
some kids, it doesn't take long. I mean, some kids take to it like a duck in water and other kids, it takes a while, but once they learn how to turn and how to stop, you know, I mean, I had guys crashing in the boards before they learned how to stop. But they'll stop eventually. They'll get it, you know, turn the hips and like a hockey stop or a ski stop.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think it's just great. It just brings so much awareness to the game for the kids, you know, and putting them in that environment is very good for the sport.
It would. And the one kid we still working on over in Clayton, I mean, he was playing juniors and he dove in the shallow end of a pool here a couple of years ago. And we got him in our sled, and just to be in the locker room and out in the ice, the smell of the ice, the smell of the locker room just brought back memories. He was so happy, but he just didn't have the upper body strength, and he's working that now. He still has our sled, and actually his dad works up at Fort Drum at Guthrie Medical Clinic. Yeah.
What do you have coming up? Do you have anything coming up for the team?
Yeah, we just, like I said, we just got back from Boston this weekend. We played the kids at Middlesex, and then we played a Boston sled hockey team on Sunday. And we tied the kids 3-3. We lost to Boston 5-3. This weekend and next weekend's practice, 2 practices. And then we have our tournament the first weekend of March 4th, 5th, and 6th, right here in SUNY Canton. And right now I had 2 Canadian teams back out on me. So I got 2 Vermont teams coming in their place. Hopefully Ottawa will still come through on the border. Got a little issue with Buffalo. I guess they got some issue with a hotel room that now they suspended their play. So I'm going to call their coach and stuff, because we always look forward to the Buffalo team coming to play in our tournament.
What do we got? 4, 5, 6, Dan? Do we have Snowbelt?
Yeah, that's jam weekend.
Getting up there to watch. Yeah,
Right.
Snowbelt Jam. I'd love to get up there and watch that and maybe.
Yeah, we
They
started.
broadcasts a lot of
11
games. They
o'clock.
actually broadcast the Hobart Potsdam game from
Yeah.
Pulaski this year, and he broadcasts a ton of high school games down here, live stream and commentary and the whole 9 yards. It'd be great to be able to put yours on YouTube and get that thing broadcast with actual commentary and names being called and all that stuff.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
just need
great.
rosters and jersey numbers. That's it.
Yeah, we got the rosters from the teams are coming in right now, and what we always have is the VFW color guard, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts color guard, people singing the national anthem, both U.S. and Canada. So I mean, we do it upright here, and the guys think we got the best tournament going here, both from the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, I remember, and I know I mentioned it to you in the email, but I coached up there with Bill Dakota and with Jesse Coburn with the Canton Blades. My daughter played there for a long. My wife played at St. Lawrence, so we did the spaghetti dinner a few years for you over at the VFW.
Yeah, the girls did a great job.
Yeah, that was a good time for them. It was a good time for me too to see everybody, and it was nice.
It was good to get them involved with community service too.
Yep, for sure.
You know, the guys from the other teams couldn't believe how many people that we got involved with this tournament. It's just amazing.
The border closing must be a pain in you know what for you right now, because I'm sure that there's a lot more you can do if you can get Kingston over here and teams near Ottawa or whatever.
Right. So we're hoping to, I think it's cleared up now. They're supposed to open up more here by this weekend. So.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, we got to wrap it up. We started a little late and we went long with
Fallon.
I apologize for being late.
No,
Oh, you're fine. We're glad you
fine.
can make it.
Yeah, maybe we could do a follow-up on this though, Coach. Would you
It's
get
an
you back
honor,
on?
and I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, for sure. We're just trying to keep
More
it real. I
guys
think
following hockey here.
yeah. If you think of anybody else, Coach, too, that we can talk to about any aspect of the game, particularly, I'd like to be able to talk to anybody about sled hockey. We're always looking for new guests. I'll follow up. Dan and I can follow up and send you a link to the podcast and the YouTube once we have it all published and stuff, so you can maybe share it with some guys from your team.
Yeah, and I just want to mention too, one of our guys, Randy Gollinger, got MVP here a year and a half ago for our sled hockey league here in Northern New York, and he's a kid that played soccer and basketball his life, and then went in the Army, 10th Mountain, and got his blown up and lost a leg and lost an eye. And now he's never played hockey before. Now he's one of my best skaters.
Right.
So I think there's one opportunity there. You may want to interview him and get his perspective, because it turned his life around. Before he was drinking a lot, not in shape and stuff like this. Now he's getting in shape and eating healthy and stuff like that. So it really turned his life around. So.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Coach, because we got a lot of kids, a lot of people that listen, particularly, I mean, from your neck of the woods all the way up. We've interviewed the guys from Malone Minor Hockey and the Adirondack 46ers and Plattsburgh and all the way down to Hobart. And, there's a lot of different listeners, and these kids, it's great to hear different approaches on how to deal with adversity and how to be a better person and how to stay in the game. So yeah, I'd be open to that. We'll reach out to you via email. That'd be a great conversation to have.
That'd be great. I appreciate that, Mike.
I'm working on ways while I'm live streaming games to do like on the ice or pre or post game live interviews with video and audio right into the live stream. So we get together and do a tournament local or even just a practice to interview the kids and your players before and after the game to see that kind of compare and contrast.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be wild.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I just want to mention too, to your people listening is we don't discriminate. I have 3 kids that are 5, 6, and 7 years old. 2 of them have spina bifida, and the doctor told them they couldn't play sports. And the parents called me up. I'm like, no, show up. We'll get them sleds. We'll try it out if they like it. We'll get them fitted for sleds. And our guy Lori, like I said, that makes a better sled. I gave him measurements over the weekend. I had the sled the following weekend. I mean, that's the kind of rapport we have with these guys. And the parents couldn't believe. And now, I want to start a little junior team for minor hockey kids that are disabled to give them an opportunity. And that can be my feeder team for my adult team. So I'm always new things, but if the doctor tells me a kid can't play sports, I'm sorry. You got to turn the lemons into lemonade, and kids get an opportunity, and now they're having fun.
Right. That's why the Olympics calls it adaptive hockey, right? Because you may not be able to play traditional hockey, but we can fix hockey to fit you, right? Absolutely.
Right, for sure. It's a good point, Dan.
Well,
all right, Mark.
Again.
Thanks for being on, and we'll be in touch. There'll be some follow up here. We'd love to continue to do a few more things with you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Looking forward to it, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, guys, take care.
All right.
Have a good night, Mark.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. What a night. Holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, it was long, but it was interesting. I know it's almost 2 episodes here for crying out loud, but I mean, I could have kept talking to Mark too. I mean, I want to try to get involved in that. Good things we can do.
Absolutely. Right. We'll keep evolving what we do and how we do it. Right. You saw the fun stuff I'm figuring out how I could do in the background here. We'll be able to incorporate that into future potential live stream podcast recordings, so we can have some direct feedback from our viewers. But I am working on also for being able to do pre and post game interviews.
Yeah, on the Dan Dallin YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that would be amazing, especially something like that with the adaptive sled hockey. Go right on the ice and talk to people and get their
Mhm.
take, and it'll do wonders.
How cool would it be for our players to, kind of, I think that'd be good for a couple of different associations. I think it'd be good for the Watertown Association. I think it'd be good for Salmon River to be able to host something like that,
Yeah.
just to bring awareness. Hey, try this out. See what this is like. See what adaptive sled hockey is like, and
Right.
we'll have a little scrimmage, and it'll be, I think it'll develop a deep appreciation for the challenges that people are facing. And like, I think it was really cool what you said, right? We'll make the game work for you.
Right.
We can do that.
It's and we get that going with Watertown, Salmon River, even Unity. Parks and Recreation might be able to understand just kind of what kind of community impact this is, and relax a little on charging them for ice time when the ice is going to be sitting there anyway, right?
I know.
All you gotta do is turn the lights on.
That's it.
So awesome.
All right, I think we got to skip all of our
scores and updates and everything.
Scores and updates, and we'll do that next week. There's lots of stuff to report, but or maybe we'll try to squeeze in another episode when we have some time. Most were going away with us over the weekend, but you're not. We could have squeezed in an episode from the road.
Yeah, I hear. Well, you know what? I'll have plenty of time here, right? We're still gonna need to record. We could always put it together. I'm gonna be setting up. So the games from the weekend should be viewable at the Dan Dallin on YouTube. I'm gonna set them up so Karen can live stream them right from her phone.
Okay.
She claims she doesn't do play-by-play, but she does a little bit as you're watching. You'll hear her still. So a lot of cheering for sure, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, I saw her last video, and she was going woohoo in the Ogdensburg game, so it was kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
I think we lost Trey to a computer dying.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. I'll believe that. So, all right, awesome. Well, hey, Mike, I think that's a wrap on this one. We'll put it together. Sure. We'll get the video set up. We'll send it out to everybody. So,
thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Michael Ledoux.
I am the Dan Dallin. Remember, don't wait for it to be a good day. Make it a great day, everyone.
A great day.